Hey, what's going on? Tony Scott here on this Friday. Friday is in the house. Yeah, very hot. This is the hottest day of the year so far in Dallas. It was 98 in Fort Worth, 96 in Dallas. I think it was 101 at one of the little towns southwest of Dallas. Aledo, I think is what it was. So very hot today in DFW. But you know what? Here we are, the weekend. It's going to be hot all weekend. So they say stay hydrated if you're going to be outside. So there's that. But I'm Tony Scott, if you don't know. I do the afternoon show, The Smooth Ride Home, on Smooth R&B 105.7. We're live in the studio right now here on Facebook. And kind of a sad day. Get to that in just a second. T.I. is saying that what happened with him and the security guard outside of the gated community where T.I. lives, remember that happened a couple of days ago? He's saying not everything's being reported. You know, like the fact that the security guard cussed out Tiny. Now, what man's here for his wife getting cussed out by a security guard? None of us are here for that, right? But he says that's what happened. He says the security guard yelled at Tiny over the phone and says, who the bleep you think you was talking to me like this? Well, who's going to stand for that? No man's going to take that. I mean, come on. But he says there's still a lot more to come out. And his arrest, it kind of has stink written all over it. Like, you know what? You guys got nothing. You guys got nothing. And you're going to be wasting taxpayer dollars putting this through the system? I don't know, man. I don't know. Chris Brown, apparently for Karuchi, his ex-girlfriend turned 30 yesterday, and he put up a video of a song called Autumn Leaves, one of his songs where she played his love interest, and he put it up on Instagram with a bunch of birthday emojis and stuff. And I guess somebody says, dude, nah, man, come on, bro. Take it down, man. Take it down. I'm guessing Chris, and I don't know Chris, so saying this is very unfair, I would imagine. But there seems to be a little issue there of letting go, right? A little bit of an issue there of letting go of past relationships, man. You got what you can. You got everything you get out of the relationship. The season closed, man. God closed that season, gonna open up another season for you. Take that one, man, and go with it. You know what I'm saying? And Janet Jackson says she's had self-esteem issues her entire life. Yeah. You know, I can't imagine there's a Jackson child between Joseph and Catherine that doesn't have an issue of some sort. Could be a minor issue, could be a major issue. Self-esteem is a major issue. And she says smart psychology, vigorous exercise, and sincere spirituality have got her through it and will get her through it. But she says it's hard to believe. You're thinking, how could I have self-esteem issues when I have all this fame and fortune? But she's a human being. And there's that. So, I guess the thing that's on my mind is Santa Fe. What happened in Santa Fe, Texas? I grew up in Galveston, not too far from Santa Fe. In fact, my father is buried about maybe 5 miles from Santa Fe. And I've got relatives in the Santa Fe, Altaloma area. And so I'm not actually positive that I do not have relatives that go to that school. I'm not really sure about that. But what happened today, how many school shootings is that? Somebody said like 22 since the school year started. That's crazy. 10 people killed today. I believe 9 of them were students. 1 was a teacher. And 10 more were wounded in the hospital. And there are just no words, man. There's no words because there's going to be the call for gun control, and the NRA, as powerful as it is, will beat it down like it always does, you know. And you know, the president, when it happened in Florida, he was like, "Yeah, we got to have gun control," but then he kind of backed away from that a week or two later. Remember that? Kind of like, yo, man, we're the testiculars, man. But we'll have to see what happens with this. This is like just horrible. So thoughts and prayers with everybody, and hopefully we can find an answer. It won't be anytime soon, I can tell you that. But it's one of those things where you just don't. Was that swag in the window over there? The jumping up and down in the window, but the shooter, 17 years old, got his rifle and his .38. Those were his dad's rifles and .38s that he had, and he took them from home and brought them to school. And They also found some, what is it, CO2, some explosives, Molotov cocktails on campus at the school and around, off campus, around in the area and stuff. So they're telling people in Santa Fe, if you see something don't look right, don't touch it. Call somebody. Don't fool with nothing that don't look right. You know, something looks out of the ordinary. That wasn't there yesterday. Don't pick it up. Just leave it alone and call somebody. Better safe than sorry. I think that's great advice. This kid supposedly was bullied and was not happy, and he had an overcoat on. That's where he had hid his weapons and stuff. But they say he always had an overcoat on, so it's just a horrible thing. So again, thoughts and prayers going out to the victims and their families, because I just, it's hard to put into words. You know, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, our school used to play their school in a football game every year. You know, and just close, very close, too close. So there's that. I saw an interesting story about a woman in Arizona. Her husband is deployed. He's an Army sergeant, Stephen Garcia. And the interesting thing is that the woman told her husband they were having a baby girl. He's excited about that, right? Who wouldn't be? Well, Marina Garcia lets her husband know the baby died at birth. And of course, he's brokenhearted about it and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is the baby didn't die, and the baby wasn't a girl, it was a boy, and she gave it away. And you're thinking, well, why would she do that? Well, she gave it away because he was not the father. She had been messing around, apparently got pregnant, had a baby boy, didn't know what to do. She gave it away. And the story came apart, and she's looking at prison time when she's sentenced next month. Now, this young man, this Army Sergeant Stephen Garcia, wants to adopt. He wants full custody of this child, this little boy that is not his, right? He was adopted. And he says if his adoptive, if it wasn't meant for his adoptive father, no telling what would have happened to him. He wants to be there for this child, and he wants full custody of this little boy, which I think is amazing. It's amazing. I mean, he's clearly divorcing his wife. I've got the story on my blog page at krnb.com. You can check it out there. But I thought that was like amazing. I thought that was just an amazing thing that this man wants to adopt his child who was not his, and is a result of his wife having an affair with another man. But you know what? God's plan, right? What do you guys think? Something that I didn't cover today? Something that I might have missed? You're more than welcome to bring it up. Something that I did cover that you want to comment on? You're more welcome to bring that up too. Happy Friday to everybody. Alex says prayers to the families in Santa Fe. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough, Brenda. It's just one of those things. I mean, you know, it's just, I don't know. You know, the thing, but you know what, Brenda, here's the thing. If you're being bullied, tell someone, you know, your mom and stuff like that. And in a lot of cases that works, but in a lot of cases you can tell your mom, but then mom's got to go down to the school, and if the school isn't willing to do anything about it, then that's going to be a problem. Now, we were fortunate because when one of my daughters was being bullied at school, my wife wasn't here for it. My wife was bullied when she was in school, so she's not going to be here for it. And she went down to the school. She didn't call anybody. She went down there and had a conversation. And it dawned on me at the time that, you know, because my wife, she's that mom who would go to the PTA meetings and she would go to the teacher-parent conferences and stuff like that. So they were familiar with my mother. I mean, with my wife. And as a mother, she was involved. And I think that helped, that kept the door open. So if there's a problem, hey, y'all know me. And she goes down there. So getting involved is much more about having to go to meetings. It's about establishing relationships, right? And, you know, to this day, the former assistant principal and my wife, you know, they communicate on a somewhat regular basis. And I think that really helped the situation. And he got involved and put a stop to it. But in a lot of cases, especially the bigger the school, the harder it is because they've got so many things that they got to do. The lady's going to trial because it's against the law to give a child away, I would imagine. I don't think that's legal. You can't just legally give a child to somebody. There has to be some paperwork involved or something. There has to be a process. And she just gave the child away. I think that's what it is, talking about the woman in Arizona that I just spoke about. So, You took your kids out of school, so I'm taking. So what's the form of education? You're homeschooling your kids, or they go to a private school, or what's the deal on that? If you can share, that'd be great. Kenneth, you adopted your two kids. My kids are listening to you right now. Well, that's your problem. Kenneth, you're letting your kids listen to me. You need to aim higher, man. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's very nice that they're listening. Hello, children. Hello, Kenneth, kids. Very good. Brenda says, as for T.I. and Tiny, I would be upset too if I guess you're saying if your spouse got cussed out. Yeah, you wouldn't be here for that. Who's here for that? Nobody wants to see their spouse get abused or misused or cursed out or anything like that. So I would imagine I'm trying to play out the scenario in my head. Okay, so Tiny vouched for T.I. Somehow he got through. He went home, had a drink, came back. I guess he went back to the security guard. I'm guessing when he found out that he had cussed his wife out. And that's when the security guard called police, I'm guessing. And because he refused to give T.I. his name because he was scared of him, I would imagine. Because by then, as a husband, you're incensed, man. How you going to cuss out somebody's wife? What kind of man are you, man? You cussing out somebody's wife on the phone? Where you get off doing something like that? That's me. That's me saying that, right? It's like, how you going to cuss out somebody's wife, man? How would you let somebody cuss out your wife? And if you say you don't care, then that tells you everything you need to know about him, right? I'm just saying, it's one of those things, but it's unbelievable that, as T.I. says, there's a lot of this incident that's not being reported. So we'll have to see, but what else comes out? But it seems like it's bogus. The whole thing is bogus. The arrest, all this kind of stuff like that. It seems like it could be handled in a better way. Not because it's T.I., but because this escalated to a point where all you had to do was call the house and say, hey, is your husband T.I.? And Tiny would have said, yeah. Well, he's at the gate. He don't have his pass to get in. Tiny says, let him in. That's it. That should have been over with, right? That should have been the end of it right there. What was the problem? I'm guessing there must be some kind of protocol, there's some kind of mechanism that just doesn't allow you to do that. Or was he heavy-handed with his job? I don't know. Aunt Homeda, hey, what's going on? Donna says, I take back what I said yesterday. T.I. should have gone back. Yeah. But you know what the thing is you let him know, look, dude, at the very least, you let him know. As much as you want to throw hands, and you can't throw hands, because once you throw hands, you've lost the battle. You've lost the battle. I don't care. Well, you should care, because you and I are not T.I. You and I get arrested, we got to spend the money to get bailed out. We got to hire a lawyer, all this money that we don't have to spend. Got to take time off from work. Don't know if my job's going to let me do that over something that ridiculous, right? Your employer doesn't need that kind of drama around the job, so they let you go. Now you're out of a job. I'm just saying scenarios that happen, so that's why you don't want to throw hands. But you do have a right to let the guy know, dude, that wasn't cool, man, what you said to my wife. That wasn't cool. You owe your wife at least that, to let him know, dude, I know what you did. You know what I'm saying? Ronald Pina's in the house. Ronald is in the house. How you doing? Good evening, Polly. So with the T.I. thing, that's kind of like how I kind of see that. But I don't know. Everything keeps coming back to what happened in Santa Fe today, and maybe because my dad is buried up the road, and I spent a lot of time in. There's a lot of little towns that's like off of Highway 6. There's Fredericksville, Hitchcock, Santa Fe, out to Loma Arcadia, and Alvin's down the road. And, it's just like a lot of, and I'm sure I'm missing a few little bitty towns, right? Little tiny towns that if you blink, you miss it in that area. And for that to just come out of nowhere, it's like, wow. Chris Brown's that guy who doesn't want to see his exes happy with another man. Right? He can't, for some reason, it seems that way. Like I said, I never even met the man. But it seems, based on Rihanna and Karrueche, he's really got a problem moving on, you know, because I don't know. I mean, my ex before my current wife was my ex-wife. And though we got on, we got in a great space the last few years before my ex-wife got sick and passed away. We were in a pretty good space. But I would never call her and say, "Hey, happy birthday." I would never do. I wouldn't do that. That would just be foul, right? And I can't see ever contacting an ex. I just can't see doing that. It's like, you know what? And maybe in my mind, in my heart, I'm thinking, well, I hope she has a happy birthday. But I ain't calling her. Because that sends so many wrong signals, right? One, well, you can't leave me alone, man. Two, does he want to get back together? Three, can I get an expensive birthday gift out of him? You know, there's a whole kinds of, and I'm just speaking from a man's perspective, okay? So it's like, so you can avoid all that. You can avoid all that by not even making the phone call and just sending a warm thought telepathically. You know, no email, no text. Guys, leave it. You gotta move on, man. You gotta let it go. You gotta move past it. What was that lady that a couple weeks ago? The lady who got arrested because she went out with this dude like one time and she sent him like 6,000 texts or some ridiculous number of texts after one date. Man. Jamon, what's going on in Fort Worth, man? I hear y'all were up to 98 degrees today. Y'all, or was it 96? 96 degrees. Y'all were burnt. This was the hottest day in North Texas of the year. So there's that. So Roberta says that's why they're exes. Well, that's one reason why they're exes. There's many reasons why someone's an ex. You know, you can't simplify it. You know, but I get what you're saying. I get the gist of what you're saying. That's true. But a lot of people they do have trouble because they always think that there's a shot. Well, there's not a shot, and there shouldn't be a shot. And as cliche as it sounds, you know, they're an ex for a reason, right? And so you have to get past that and move on. If you want them to be happy, they're not going to be happy with you. But you want them to be happy. But they can't be happy with you. Do you still want them to be happy, even though they shouldn't be with you? You guys are bad for each other. Can't live with her, can't live without her. You guys have to, you know, that's the thing. But see, that a lot of that comes with wisdom. With age comes wisdom. You know, and for guys, it takes us a little longer to mature to get to that level. Some of us never get there. A lot of us have never seen a great relationship. We think we have, but we haven't. So we have no blueprint. So we're like walking in the dark with a bunch of rocking chairs in the room, and that's a tough one. So, you know. Mississippi's in the house. Betty, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. It's just a conversation. My wife and I were talking about today about, you know, I was asking her, I mean, I got to think of ways to better my Facebook Live. And she goes, I think you're doing all right. You know, you're reading people's comments and you're interacting with them, and that's a good thing. So she's like my unofficial consultant. She's never done radio, but she's been married to radio for a very long time. So there's that. Ronald says that they should sell single bullets, $50,000 each, then it won't be anybody buying. Maybe it would stop most of the killing. We'll see. There you go, Ronald. Great idea. But here's the flaw in your idea is because we live in a free market, you can't tell people how much to charge for something. So if I start selling my bullets for $50,000 each, somebody is not going to do that so they can get the market cornered because that's how it works, right? Somebody's going to be selling the bullets for cheaper than me, so then I got to lower my price. Next thing you know, we're back to where we were, right? That's the thing. You know, it's just it's a tough. Hello to the wife. Yes, the wife. She was watching yesterday. She's not watching. I don't think she's watching today. So I think she had her and my daughter were doing something or another. Something. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. A lot of people say, you know, make the bullets too expensive, but not everybody will do that. Especially with the power that the NRA has. Well, what has to happen is the NRA and all lobbying groups need to be outlawed, but that's not going to happen because they finance most of the elections. It's just not going to happen. You can say, we got to get rid of all, we should take all the guns off. You're never going to take the guns off the street, you know? And I've said this before. The problem ain't the guns at the gun stores. The problem are the guns that are already in the street. Oh, that's the problem. The guns that are already out of the store. There's where your problem is. Problems are not the guns that are in the stores right now. The problems are the guns that are in the street. Meaning the guns that are in people's homes, and, people are hiding their guns under their mattress and things like that. So it's one of those, hey Cheryl, it's one of those kinds of things that there are many layers to the gun thing. Many, many, many different layers. Because you want laws, but then you got rights. And nobody wants to budge. Had a conversation with somebody in NRA one time, and, I said, we don't want your guns, but you have to help us keep guns away from people who really are not responsible or mentally capable of having guns. And he says, no, I can't do that. Everybody has to have a right to a gun. And I was like, even the mentally ill? He goes, yeah. I was like, wow, you should run for president. Because the president rolled that one back, right? Yeah. Donna works at a school district, and it's days like this that are extremely hard. And is it hard, Donna, because there, by the grace of God, could have been the school that you work at, or school district that you work in? Because it seems like, it happens all over, but it hasn't, I can't ever imagine it happening to me, right? But then it does. It does happen. And it's like, wow. Santa Fe, Texas, where, I've got relatives that live in that area. Possibly with kids in that school, I'm not sure yet. So I haven't reached out, because I know it's pretty traumatic, and they don't need me like calling, you have any kids that go to that school? They don't need me doing that. So it's like, no, you guys have got to deal with what's important. Those are your babies, making sure they're okay. Because there was one girl on TV today at the high school. She was like, I don't want to come back to this school. She was crying. She was hysterical. Her mom was holding her, because she took it really bad. She saw her friend get shot in the head. And it's like, wow. That's crazy. It's just one of those things where we have to figure out a way to make this work. The governor said that earlier today. He said that we have to protect people's rights to guns, the Second Amendment, and figure out gun laws. And at first I'm thinking, see, now you're making it political. But you think about it, yeah, because no one is willing to outlaw, the NRA. And I don't even know what reason you could use it other than, we don't believe in their philosophy. You don't get outlawed for that. Are they doing anything illegal? Not to my knowledge, but I don't know everything. But the people who don't want to do anything about the gun laws that we have now need to be voted out of office. And the shooting in Parkland, Florida, really fired those kids up who are registering these young people to vote, and they're not forgetting. They're not forgetting. And every time this happens, moving forward at a school, it's a huge reminder, and they stay inspired and stay motivated. So when these midterms come around, there's going to be a lot of prices to pay for not doing anything. Ronald, appreciate the thoughts about the prayers out to the families here in Texas and stuff. And once the students hear about the shooting, it messes with their spirits. Absolutely. You got to remember, these kids, 18, maybe 19 years old, maybe the oldest one, and they're not fully developed mentally. The kids always think that they're mature. They're 12 years old, thinking. As soon as they start growing hair in places, they think they know every damn thing's going. They know how to figure out the world. You have no idea. Some of the worst decisions in the world have been made by very hairy people. So I'm just saying, it has got nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with what you look like, how old you are. It's what's in here and in here. That's what I've noticed in my life. It hasn't got nothing to do with how mature you think you are or how old you are. I've known people older than me that are like so immature and stupid and overreactionary to everything. It's like, how did you get this far? How did you make it this far? Man, you're lucky because you should have been shot a long time ago because you're stupid, right? That's sometimes, and some of them are my relatives. And it's like, wow, man, how'd you do that? You are an extremely lucky person because you're ignorant as hell. That's just me. But anyway, I got to get ready to get out of here because it's Friday and I got to hunt me down something sensible to eat. And then I'm off this weekend. So there's that. And off Monday, so I'll be back on Tuesday. So you guys have a fantastic weekend, and appreciate you guys following me. Don, yeah, you know what? I would imagine the school nurse sees a lot of anxiety and fear at schools, and not just schools where shootings have already occurred, like moving forward with Santa Fe or Parkland. I would imagine the schools that are not even in the area of the shooting, there's a lot of anxiety because you're about to walk in a building that's very similar to the one that was just on TV, and you're supposed to be okay with that? Nah, that's a tough one, man. That's a very tough one. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. So, Cheryl, enjoy your weekend also. Appreciate you guys watching, sharing on your Facebook page. Very easy to share this video on Facebook. You see the share button. Just click that. You're good to go. Follow me on all my social media platforms. Stacy says, a friend of just mentioned to me that studies show that there's been 22 shootings. That's one school shooting per week, just about. Something like that, yeah, since the beginning of January. What is causing our children to feel so in despair? I think there are many answers to that, Stacy. There are a lot of answers, a lot of theories to why our children are in despair. Then you have to keep in mind sometimes these, was the Parkland student, he wasn't, the Parkland shooter wasn't a student, right? Was he a student? I think he was already out, wasn't he? Man, there's so many of them, they all start to run together after a while, right? And just before I let you go, there was a story here in Fort Worth at the Hewlin Mall. There was a guy who, like in the course of a week, will go into the mall and throw Molotov cocktails. He did it at Sears, he did it at Dillard's, and he did it at another store in Hewlin Mall in Fort Worth. And they finally got him today. And I would imagine they're going to put him under the jail. What the hell's wrong with you, man? What? You're going to a mall throwing Molotov cocktails? What are you, crazy? Yes, I am. It's like, wow, whoa. So pray for everybody, Brenda. Pray for us all because we need it. We all need it. You guys have a great weekend, and thank you again so much for your support.